How do we create a food system that is both fair and sustainable? It's an absolutely Herculean task, but if we're going to start, we need to recognise two things. The first is the scale of the problem. It's enormous. Food is the single biggest cause of biodiversity collapse, of eutrophication, water pollution. It's with energy, one of the two biggest causes of climate change, and increasingly it's making us sick. And those problems are played out disproportionately on those in society who already have the least. So we have to recognise that. And then the second thing we have to recognise is that these problems are caused by two destructive feedback loops. The first is a junk food cycle, a toxic interaction between our appetite and the commercial incentives of food companies that makes them make more food, that makes us sick and us eat more of that food. And that can only be broken by government intervention. And the second is to realise that nature is completely invisible in our food system. We don't measure it in the P&Ls of companies, we don't measure it in the way in which we calculate GDP. And we need to make nature, biodiversity, carbon brilliantly visible within the food system. So as well as valuing the money and the food, we can value nature and climate as well. And again, that system requires, that problem requires government intervention. So let's realise the scale of the problem. We need action from people, from companies, but we also need the government to help us unpick those two huge problematic feedback loops.